Hello, lovely viewers, distinguished judges, and guests. I'm Seth Ade, and I have an insightful documentary for you. I want you to relax as I take you through the history and evolution of Ghana's film industry. Don't forget to vote for me. Cinema in Ghana began when early filmmaking was introduced in the British colony of the Gold Coast in 1923. In 1950s, filmmaking began to increase. Cinemas were the primary venue for watching films until home video became more popular. In the early 1920s, individuals in the private sector brought the film to Ghana by opening cinemas in urban areas. In 1923, cinemas became a new form of entertainment, and only the affluent people could see the films exhibited at the cinema. Cinemas were for the first class in the society. Cinema vans were used in rural areas. In 1948, the colonial masters discovered that film, besides entertainment values, could be used to brainwash and transform society in the direction of the filmmaker. They decided to establish the Gold Coast Film Unit and in the Information Service Department of the colonial government. The Gold Coast Film Unit used green yellow Bedford buses to screen documentary films, newsreels, and governmental information to the public. Attendance was free. The films include propaganda films about World War II, like Africa's Fighting Men, produced by the Colonial Film Unit. After the war, the unit produced educational films for the African colonies. These films were designed to contrast the Western civilized way of life. The suggested superstitions customs should be seized. The Gold Coast Film Unit also produced films like Amino's Child with local interest to encourage health, crops, living, and human corporations. They began to train local African filmmakers, and films were exchanged with other British colonies in Africa. The new cinema industry in Ghana, also known as Gollywood, started in the early part of the 1980s. The first president of Ghana, Dr. Kwame Nkrumah, in 1964 established the Ghana Film Industry Corporation at Skanda in Accra, which would have become the country's capital in 1977. The Ghana Film Industry Corporation houses TV3, a private Malaysian TV station. Dr. Kwame Nkrumah sent a lot of Ghanaians abroad to learn filmmaking purposely for the running of the Ghana Film Industry Corporation to reverse the negative impact of the film made by the colonial government and to restore the pride of being Ghanaian in the citizen. In 1981, the first independent film, Love Brewed in the African Pot, was produced by Kwao Ansa, one of the legendary filmmakers in Ghana. After that, Kenan Pao, a Ghanaian filmmaker trained in Germany, also followed suit with the release of his film Kukran Tumi, The Road to Africa, Road to Accra, in 1983. Since 1980s, the making of direct-to-video films has increased in Ghana. Funds for cinematography were hard to come by for both the state-owned Ghana Film Industry Corporation and the independent filmmakers. Furthermore, it seemed as if the television network was the only place willing to screen Ghanaian films, as the cinematic mainstream were reserved for international films. Due to the monopoly held by the Ghana Film Industry Corporation and lack of funds, Ghanaians began to move to focus on more independent structures. The movement significantly fueled by William Akufo. He decided to shoot film completely out of his pocket. Akufo followed a four-walling method, where the filmmaker rents a studio and keeps the ticket revenue for himself instead of paying a percentage to the theater owner. He shot his film on a video camera rather than a film camera and screened the film in the same self-produced studio. Finally, in 1987, he released the feature-length video film Zanibo. The release of Zanibo caused a boom in the video film industry in Ghana, as it inspired many self-taught filmmakers to make similar films that dealt with presenting the daily realities of Ghanaian culture and life. The ban on video, in an attempt to curb the negative effect they thought unlicensed American and Chinese filmmakers were having on Ghanaian culture, was lifted because of Zanibo. When the filmmakers started making, the authorities of the Ghana Film Industry Corporation rose against it and made it difficult for the independent producers in Ghana at that time by prohibiting their film directors to assist the independent producers. This led to a decline in professionalism in the art of filmmaking, since the producers were forced to start directing their own video film. These films were easier to produce and distribute, as one only needed a video camera, video compact disc, and a screen. Quickly, New independent cinemas were built, film libraries were created in on almost every corner of the street in Accra. There were banners and posters advertising new video film. After some years, the Ghana film industry started to offer technical support to the video filmmakers in exchange for the right to first screening in its Accra cinema. The movie industry entered a new phase yet again, the Gollywood phase, where Ghanaian film industry is solely determined by the pop culture in demand. The video film boom of the 1980s and the 1990s had a major impact on popular culture in Ghana. For the first time, films depicted the modern beliefs and concerns of the Ghanaian people. These films had moral twists to the story, where the locals would relate to everyday lives and modern society. This was also in almost direct contrast with the Nkrumah era of filmmaking, which produced conservative and traditional film. This became evident when the average Ghanaian would prefer low-quality films with relatable moral messages over high-quality cinema. With the affordability of video films, almost any Ghanaian was able to make films. Consequently, this demand-supply ultimately had two lasting effects on the economy sustainability surrounding video films. Firstly, due to the films being distributed on tape, each film could be easily copied and redistributed illegally, causing producers to lose out in the long run. Secondly, although the low quality films did not bother the average Ghanaian at that time, it did affect Ghana's influence on a large spectrum. Ghana films rarely do well in the African Film Festival because they are easily recognizable by their lack of technical, narrative, and cinematic sophistication. Movie productions in Ghana are called Gollywood. English-speaking Ghana films are sometimes called Gollywood productions. Akan-speaking films are called Kumawood. In 2006, Mr. Samuel Kwabena Darko, who is an entrepreneur and a businessman, founded Kumawood, which is a privately owned movie and award industry in Ghana that is based in Kumasi. The industry has been lucrative because of their consistency in producing and providing good quality content in Ghana movie space. The movies are produced in the Akan language, as I said early on. Subtitles translation available. Movies are produced in a matter of weeks and not months and sometimes years in. Early on, Ghanaians and Nigerians started making collaborations that introduced Nigerian film directors such as Ifeanyi Onyagbo, aka Big Slim, Rev Tony Merigbe White, and later, around 2006, the Nigerian filmmaker Frank Raja Arasi directed and collaborated with Venus Films, a Ghanaian production company, to produce a number of films that brought out Ghanaian popular actors who could access work in Nigeria. Some of these actors include Van Veka, Jackie Appiah, Majid Michel, Yvonne Nelson, John Dumelo, Neda Barry, Yvonne Okoro, and so many more. In 2010, the Ghana Movie Awards, which is now an annual film award, was established to recognize excellence in the Ghana film industry. The first was held on 25th December 2010 at the Accra International Conference Center. The award scheme was founded by Ghanaian actor Fred Nuama in 2009. Currently, movie productions in Ghana continue to improve on quality of story and quality of their cinematic sophistication. These days, Gollywood movies are Netflix standards like KTK, The Burial of Kojo, Side Chick Gang, Potato, which is my favorite for now, and I entreat you guys to watch it, and many more. Ghana film industry has gone through many highs and lows, from the Colonial Film Unit to the Kwame Nkrumah regime, which is the Gold Coast Film Industry Corporation, to Gollywood. When studying the existing academia surrounding Gollywood, it also becomes clear that many academics seem not to agree on whether the video film industry is the hero or the villain of the Ghana film industry. However, when looking at some of the points discussed, it seems as though it may be both. The video film industry could be seen as a vigilante, a self-appointed group who decided to take matters into their own hands without legal authority. I urge you all to keep on patronizing, watching, and promoting Ghana films. I beg you, my people, please continue to protect yourselves during this pandemic. And I also want to use this opportunity to plead on our leaders to ask for when we will be paid, because most of the student population are telling me no pay, no votes. Thank you very much.